Okay, so abstract data type, combination of a data structure and operation are known as a abstract data type. Abstract means to hide. It consists of data item and related function that can be performed on the data, but it does not deal with the implementation. It deals with only the data part. It does not deals with the function, whatever goes inside the device. That it cannot be deal with the functions or implementation of a data. It just consists with the data items that is related to the function and that can be performed on the data. That means, for example, when we drive, Yash, mute yourself. When we drive, we are aware about steering, brakes, and certain operation that is enough for driving. When we are driving, only steering, wheels, brakes, then certain operation in the car that are enough for us to drive the car. Now no need to worrying about what is going inside the engine, what is going inside the dicky, what is going inside the wheel. That is not our concern. Okay, so that concept is called as your abstract data type. Abstract means to hide. So these implementation which are going inside the car, which are not concerned at all. Only the information that concern with us is like how to drive a car. Then like for example, like steering of a car, then your brakes of a car, then signals, how to follow the signals, how to follow the how to follow the like wheels. That can be enough for learn, that can be enough for, that can enough information for to drive. So that is called as your abstract data types. Means only necessary information, only the necessary part of operation is known by the user. That's called as abstract data type. So abstract data type hides all the unnecessary information from the data, and it will convert, or it will save the basic information or necessary information in the variable. Okay, so the user, we work on an external part but not on how it actually works. Only the external part, only the like familiar part we can see, we can check, but actually what is going inside that part, that we cannot concern. So ADT works on the concept of object. It works on the attribute and name of the attribute. So if it is working on object, it works on the only attributes and name of the attribute. Now only attribute and name of the attribute, only the functions and the features are like implemented in car. But why the features has implemented, how it is working, that is not our concern. Our concern is only that we are knowing the features of whatever the car we are having. Only we are concerned about that features and the operations of that car. So that is called as your abstract data type. The user can only use the instruction but unaware about the information detail. Yes, users can only know the information about the car, but whatever going inside that car, we didn't concern about that. So that type of concept is called as your ADT, or abstract data type. Now, what are the advantages of abstract data type? It helps to focus on solving problem rather than implementation details. Yes, like it helps to focus on solving whatever the major problem is there, that we have to solve. We are not concerned about what are functions and what are the operation going inside that car. We are just having the problem and we just have to solve that problem. We will not go into deep to solve that problem. Only the basic part, only the main functions we can check and we can solve that problem. So that time will reduce by this abstract data type, right? Then ADT prevents direct access to implementation details, hence we reduce logical error. Yes, because it has the hiding capacity, because it hiding the hiding feature in ADT data type. So valuable information can be hide, or valuable information we can hide in this data type. only the necessary information we can give to the user, so that the harm, no one will harm our data, or no one will hack your data because of ADT, because we have given the limited access or direct access, but the limited access to that data. So that is the ADT's advantage. Now using ADT allows to divide larger program into smaller module. Yes, like a large program or large problem, if we have that problem, can be converted into a smaller module, and then we can add the data into the abstract data type. The program which is using ADT needs to do any changes if there is change in ADT implementation. That means what? A program which is using ADT, whatever the variable, whatever the program you are using in ADT, if the changes has made in ADT, the implementation parts no need to change, only need to change इज द इंफॉर्मेशन पार्ट. सो जो भी चेंजेस आपको वहाँ पे करने हैं, उस जो भी चेंजेस आप वहाँ पे करोगे, उसके बारे में आपको इंफॉर्मेशन रखने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. जस्ट यू हैव टू केयर अबाउट द इंफॉर्मेशन. एंड so the change that's why the changes in program is independent of ADT implementation changes. That means जो भी implementation part है उसके बारे में आपको सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. just you have to change the program. सिर्फ आपको प्रोग्राम चेंज करना है. इम्प्लीमेंटेशन पार्ट कुछ भी हो, उसके साथ आपका कोई भी इशू और उसके साथ आपका कोई भी लेना देना नहीं है. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज योर एब्स्ट्रैक्ट डेटा टाइप. एब्स्ट्रैक्ट मीनिंग द हाइडिंग द इंफॉर्मेशन. इट गिव्स ओनली द नेसेसरी इंफॉर्मेशन टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम, and it hides all the unnecessary information to the user. Whatever the necessary information is there, that should be visible to the user. Otherwise, no use of displaying all the information in ADT. ADT is abstract data type. Okay, so this is your abstract data type. Now we'll start with the algorithm. As we have already seen, an algorithm is a finite step-by-step procedure. If we have any problem, if we have any mathematical problem, to solve that problem, we have to follow step-by-step procedure. That is called as your algorithm. So an algorithm is an infinite step. It has a finite step. It has a limited step or step-by-step procedure for solving particular task in a limited amount of time. Whatever the task we have, that we have to solve in a limited amount of time, that can be done by the algorithm. Now program is implementation of an algorithm. Program we can write with the help of algorithm. If we know the algorithm, we can write a successful program, because in algorithm we have the step-by-step procedure to solve that problem. So to solve that problem, if we have implemented a program, so that program will be very beneficial if we have followed the algorithm. Okay, so now what is a program? A program is a group of instruction that performs a specific given task when executed by a computer. Program is a group of instruction. We are giving some instruction to the system to do the specific task or a particular task, right? So that group of instruction is called as your program. Now what are the properties of algorithm? When we are writing an algorithm, what should be taken into consideration? What things should be taken into consideration while writing an algorithm? So the program should write the sequences of instruction. While writing the algorithm, the following properties must be followed. First is non-ambiguity. Non-ambiguity means what? Your program is simple and clear. Everyone should understand your algorithm. Everyone should understand our algorithm. It should be simple, clear. It should not be ambiguous. Ambiguous means like one function into another function, that function is again into another function, and many chaos are there. So this type of chaos should not be there. The algorithm should be simple and clear. It should be neat and tidy. So that property is called as your non-ambiguity. Then the second property is range of input. Range of input means what? It should specify the range of input, means how many inputs we need to define for a better output that should be done by your algorithm, right? So the range of input should be specified for the algorithm, otherwise it will go to the finite state if not specified in advance. For example, when we are declaring for loop, we are declaring I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I less than 5, I less than 7. Suppose if we don't give that 5 or 7, then your loop will go in infinite loop. That means it will continuously running that loop and the result will not be there. So that type of problem should not be occurs. So that's why to we need to go the range of input. So whenever we are writing the algorithm, we should know in advance whatever the input ranges are available into the algorithm. Suppose we want to develop an algorithm for adding two numbers. Adding two numbers, that means input should be two only. If we are giving the algorithm name adding two number, and we are allowing the algorithm to take 10 numbers, then it will be not a good algorithm, because your range of input you have decided that is 2. That is addition of only two numbers we can done. So you are supposed to allow only two numbers. Okay, so that is called as your range of input. Then multiplicity, the same problem statement can be solved using different algorithm. For example, searching can be done using binary or sequential search. Yes, when we are writing an algorithm, write algorithm in such a way that you can use it or you can reuse it in different algorithm also. Like suppose we are writing an algorithm for two addition of two numbers, and suppose now like after 2 or 3 days we have to write an algorithm for multiplication of two number. So that properties or that step by step algorithm we can convert it into the multiplication of algorithm. So write an algorithm in such a way that it can be reused to develop a new algorithm. So that is called as your multiplicity algorithm. For example, searching. Now searching is a main function. Under that we have binary search also and sequential search also, but searching is the main concept. Now we have derived from that the binary search and sequential search. So this is called as your multiplicity feature. Then after that you have a speed property. The logic of algorithm should be written in such a way that it requires a less amount of time for giving output. That means whatever the input you have providing, the process on input is like done in a less amount of time or done in a less minute, so that your output will be very fast and very quickly. So fast output or quick output should be the main property of your algorithm. That means speed, your calculation speed, your processing speed should be high to give the output. And last is your fitness finiteness. The algorithm should be finite and can be terminated after a certain instruction. That means when you are writing an algorithm, it should have a finite step. It should have the finite step. It should end at a certain point. Whenever it end at a certain point, it cannot goes on and goes on. It should be terminated at some point of time. So that is called as your properties of algorithm. There are five properties of algorithm: non-ambiguity, range of input, multiplicity, speed, and finiteness. This question is very important for your examination point of view. The question is